Hey, it's Birdman for Birdman on the Mountain, powered by Cellular One, hanging out here once again at the Poor Station. It's another Sholo Community Shout. Hanging out with me today, and I'll get in trouble because I'm going to say it's my lovely wife.
Dang it.
I like that. Anyways, it's Allison Hephner. She is the...
I'm the community outreach specialist for Navajo County. We'll just keep it at that. But I'm not here as your lovely wife,
I
Rob.
know.
I'm here to talk about the Victim Symposium.
Okay, well, tell us all about it.
Okay, so April 7th, we have a Victim Symposium. This is the 4th Annual Victim Symposium. And it's actually, I went to my first one ever last year, and it was very impressive. We had over 300 people attend this symposium, and it's put on by the county attorney's office. And two women by the name of one Roxanne and one Linda put a lot of work into it and do a phenomenal job bringing in speakers. And so they provided me with some information I wanted to talk a little bit about today. The good news is there's food. So, yes.
What kind of food are you talking about?
Well, there's breakfast.
Oh, okay, breakfast.
They have a registration and a breakfast that you can come in, and then they usually do celebrations, and I'm pretty sure it's celebrations again for lunch, which is awesome. Everybody knows about their coleslaw.
Uh-huh.
I'm pregnant, so food is number one for me right now. But anyways, they have some incredible speakers. What happens is you come to this Victim Symposium, there's an open ceremony. They have color guards. They have somebody sing the national anthem. It's very, very well put together. And then they have opening remarks from Brad Carlion. He comes in and talks. We have the Board of Supervisors present a little bit there as well. And then we talk about the victims in this community and the services that we provide for them. What they do is they bring in these keynote speakers, and they're bringing a keynote speaker in, and then they bring in these other people to do presentations and trainings. So it's a day of education, which is awesome, especially when it comes to victims' rights, because that's just really a touchy-feely thing. There takes a lot to talk to a victim and to deal with those people who have been put through those traumatic things. So this year's keynote presenter is David Kozlowski, and I hope I said that right. He is the founder of Quit Trippin'. He is also going to do a youth workshop presentation, and he comes to talk to first responders, youth, and members of the community about suicide prevention by way of relationships building and peer-on-peer support, which I've heard peer-on-peer support has been very, very instrumental in helping a lot of kids out there. The other exciting news, actually I'll get to the other ones first. There's going to be Darren West, which is a counselor. He is educated on cognitive behavioral therapy and will specifically be educating the public on how a victim's brain responds during trauma and how that can affect a victim to retain information or recall information.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy to bring him in and talk. It's going to be very interesting to see what he has to say. And then Daniel Reincon? Yeah.
Names are always fun, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's Danielle Reincon. Oh, no, it's Daniel Reincon. He will be educating us on preventing, identity, and treating strangulation domestic violence victims, which I've heard strangulation is actually a felony. I mean, you're trying to kill somebody. It's horrible. Natasha Herzig, she is a human trafficking survivor who will be educating us on the warning signs, effects, and identifying human trafficking in our community. That's something that I'm really interested to hear. I mean, this is a woman who survived it. And that's going to be very powerful. And then I saved the best for last because we're bringing Amy Lang back.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and I know that a lot of people, we had her last year in June.
Right.
There were a lot of people, and a lot of people who were like, when is she coming back? What? I missed it. I couldn't go. Because, during the summer, you can never find the right time to have an event up here.
Yep.
So she is coming back. She is going to be doing a couple workshops and educating the community about how to deal with children who have been sexually assaulted and how to address the situation. So that's going to be very important. We already know when she was here, we had 100% of the people who attended it said that it was a shame that anybody missed this because it was important information. Now, her, along with everybody else here, this is going to be quite the event to be at, to be educated and to understand, not just from a public safety standpoint, from a parent or a health educator or
Now, who's the audience for the Victim Symposium? Is it just first responders and people like that, or is it open to everyone, or what is the
Well,
audience?
we do get a lot of first responders. We do get a lot of like attorneys and things like that. But I think that it's open to anybody who wants to register as long as you get in before they sell out. And the registration I provided to you.
Which we'll put in a link down below.
Yeah, I think it would be very great. We've seen some teachers, but it'd be very great to see more teachers because they're dealing with these children. And it would be nice to know what to look for is the most important thing. This is our community. We have to find ways to keep it safe.
Right, and you mentioned registration. Did you mention cost at all?
It's free.
Oh, it's free.
Yes, it is
okay.
free. And you get fed
So you
for
get
free.
free breakfast.
Yes, free
wow.
breakfast,
Crazy.
free lunch. And then at the lunch, which is really exciting, they do a poster contest. Birdman Media sponsored a hoverboard for that, which was awesome. Yeah, and you know about that.
Yeah, don't go getting yourself hurt on this thing. I
No.
want to hear about it.
No, you won't. It's out of our hands now. But there's a poster video contest, awards they'll be giving out, and the different schools and the communities are putting that together. Then they're going to be discussing, they give out awards like the Criminal Justice Distinguished Business Award. There's a Victim Services Award, a Distinguished Law Officer. So it's a little award ceremony while you're eating. And then you break back out into workshops and learning. They're also going to be doing raffle tickets. They're going to be selling raffle tickets, and they can be purchased at either the Holbrook or Show Low County Attorney's Office.
Okay.
You don't need to be present to win. This is a fundraiser that they do. There's a lot of different things that the raffle tickets, like local restaurants, have pitched in to help support, like Cattleman's, The House, Lion's Den locally here. There's other restaurants in the Poor Station actually pitched in too. There's actually restaurants in Holbrook and Winslow and other areas as well that did that. And then they're also promoting this as Denim Day fundraiser, old cell phone donation. So they're looking for old cell phones to bring and donate, and they want you to wear denim. I don't know if you remember a long time ago, a woman was raped, and the judge, I think, told her it was because she wore denim.
Right.
Yeah. And so they're encouraging everyone to wear denim to the symposium to show support for sexual assault victims, and those proceeds to benefit an emergency directly helping those victims with urgent expenses. Whether we got to get them out of this situation immediately or get their kids out of this situation.
Yeah.
And not to downplay and focus all on women. I mean, this happens to men as well. And we're aware of that. We just need to be able to stop it in our communities. And this is a great solution to education. A solution, prevention efforts, everything. I mean, if you can prevent this from happening, or if you can find out that this is actually happening to a person and stop it, you have the education to stop it. That's huge. Nobody has to suffer anymore. So I'm excited. I'll be there.
Awesome. Cool. Anything else happening? Things going on?
No. We're starting to get into the today.
Summer season.
Around.
So if you notice and you've been following on Facebook, I posted up something about the Show Low Police. Show Low PD mentioned that they were going to be having an extra special seatbelt enforcement campaign going on. Now, it doesn't mean that they're stopping enforcing all the other laws and they're just going to look on seatbelts. And I think technically you have to be pulled over for something else anyways for the seatbelt. But it's just an awareness campaign to make sure you're wearing a seatbelt. I'm going to show you a picture. This is a car that I was in when I was younger. That it was a freak accident where a possum ran out, caught my wheel. I went into a bridge abutment about 50 miles per hour. I was able to look at this car. I was able to take my seatbelt off and step out of that vehicle with nothing more than being shaken up. So seatbelts are very important. They do save lives. There was a lot of anecdotal people saying, oh, they get their heads cut off, things with seatbelts. Mm-hmm. It's crap. Wear a seatbelt. It's very important. It saves lives. She can tell you from seeing accidents with vehicles as a firefighter what happens without seatbelts.
Oh, absolutely. You can be ejected from a vehicle at 35 miles an hour easily. Not only that, you become a object of injury in a vehicle. You have other people wearing a seatbelt and one person not. Now you get into an accident. That person's hitting everybody in that car. So I have never, in the many, many years I was with the fire service, ever have seen anybody hurt by a seatbelt. And that is not something that happens hardly ever, if it happens at all. I don't know anybody who's seen anybody like that has happened to. I know that we don't leave our house until everybody has their seatbelt on. We don't drive anywhere. And we actually had a friend up the other day. And
poor out-of-turn person gets in the back of the car, and she's like, put your seatbelt on. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and wear it correctly. I've seen people put their seatbelt on and they put the thing. It's not that you can have injury if you're not wearing anything their seatbelt correctly. You can actually injure yourself, especially at your lower internal organs, because that chest strap is what helps hold your whole body in. You just have the lap belt on. That's not enough, and especially with your weight and the force of the accident. So.
Very cool. So right before I was going to go on, Jim Saxey got a hold of me. They've got an event that's going on. I think it's for St. Patrick's Day. I can't look at my phone because it runs my camera as I do the show. So I'll put up details on that. Post look on the Facebook page, Birdman Media Community Edition. And if you don't have anything else, I think that's going to be it.
Well, what kind of event is it? You don't know?
Well, they're playing music
it's a music
at
event.
the Pine Top Brewery. So
ooh, nice.
Check that out. That's going to be it for this episode of the Show Low Community Shout right here from the Force Station. I'm Birdman for Birdman on the Mountain, powered by Cellular One. And as I always say, if you don't see me around town, I'll catch you right here on the web.